Libra, week of May 20th through 26, 2026. Starspoken weekly reading. Libra. The truth has been patient. But this week, it arrives. Justice has landed in your reading, and of all the signs in the zodiac, this card speaks most directly to you. Justice is Libra's card. The scales, the sword, the blindfold, these are your symbols, your archetypal tools. And when justice appears in a Libra reading, it is not a coincidence. It is the cosmos using the exact language your soul recognizes fastest. But here is what I need you to understand about justice before we go any further. This card does not promise that everything will go your way. It promises that what is accurate will be confirmed. What is honest will be rewarded. What has been done will be accounted for. The question justice is asking you this week, Libra, is one you already know the answer to. Have you been honest? Not with others. You are generally quite careful about your honesty with others, often to the point of managing truth diplomatically rather than stating it directly. I'm asking about your honesty with yourself. About the situation, the relationship, the arrangement, the pattern that you have been describing to yourself in softer language than the facts actually support. Justice does not accept soft language. Justice looks at what is actually true and renders a verdict based on that. On May 20th, the Sun enters Gemini, lighting up your 9th house of philosophy, belief, higher learning, and long-distance matters. This house asks, what do you actually believe? Not what sounds reasonable or fair. What do you actually believe is true? The Justice card and the 9th house Sun together are asking this question with particular urgency this week. Mercury in Gemini in your 9th house amplifies this theme. Conversations, information, and ideas about what is right, ethically, legally, philosophically, are active this week. You may be revisiting a belief you've held for a long time and finding it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Jupiter in Cancer in your 10th house of career continues to expand your professional authority and reputation. An opportunity connected to your professional credibility is building in the background. Pluto, retrograde in Aquarius in your 5th house of creativity and self-expression, continues its deep excavation of how you create and what your authentic voice sounds like beneath the diplomatic Libra surface. Love and relationships. Justice in your love reading, Libra, is a reckoning, and I mean that in the most neutral, most accurate sense of that word. A reckoning is simply the moment when accounts are tallied. When what has been given, withheld, promised, broken, honored, and ignored is placed on the scales and the weight of it is finally, clearly, seen. For those in relationships, justice this week is creating a moment of clarity about whether your partnership is truly in balance. Not perfect, justice does not demand perfection. It demands equity. Are you both contributing? Are you both growing? Is the dynamic between you one that honors both people's truth, or have you been maintaining peace at the cost of honesty? For some of you, what justice reveals will be reassuring, confirmation that you're in something real, something fair, something worth investing in. For others, what the scales show will be harder to look at. Whatever it is, the Justice card says, now that you can see it clearly, you have to decide what to do with the information. For those who are single, Justice in a love reading often signals a karmic encounter, someone who arrives as a mirror, who reflects something important back to you about yourself and your patterns. Your action step this week: say the true thing. Not the diplomatic version. The true one. Money and career. Libra, justice in your career and financial reading carries one of the most powerful professional messages possible. Your integrity is your competitive advantage. In a week when the sun illuminates your ninth house of ethics and beliefs, and justice is on the table, the cosmos is specifically rewarding those who have done their professional work with honesty and principle. If you have, and for most of you, you have, this week brings recognition, vindication, or advancement that reflects the quality of your character as much as the quality of your output. If there is a professional situation that has felt unfair, a decision that didn't account for your contribution, a dynamic that hasn't been equitable, justice signals that a correction is coming. Not through conflict, but through the simple, powerful movement of accurate accounting. The scales correct themselves. Allow it. Jupiter in your 10th house continues to build your professional authority. Don't undersell yourself in any negotiation this week. Justice knows your worth even when you forget it. Mercury in your 9th house is excellent for legal matters, contracts, and anything requiring ethical reasoning. If you have documents to review, agreements to negotiate, or terms to set, this is the week for precise and principled communication. Health and energy. Libra, the Justice card carries a specific and practical health message this week. It is time to restore balance to your physical life. Justice is a balance card, and your body is telling you the scales have been off. You likely know where, the area of your physical life that has been neglected in favor of keeping everything else running. Sleep, exercise, nutrition, time outdoors, medical appointments you've been deferring. Whatever the imbalance is in your physical routine, justice is pointing to it this week and asking for a correction. This does not require a dramatic overhaul. It requires one honest, clear-eyed look at what your body has been needing that it hasn't been getting, and one specific, concrete action to begin addressing it. The sun in your 9th house brings a desire for expansion and movement. Walking, travel, time in nature, any form of physical exploration that takes you outside your usual environment will be especially nourishing this week. Libra rules the kidneys and the lower back. Any tension in these areas this week is your body's version of the Justice card, reflecting the imbalance that needs addressing. Hydration, movement, and the release of something held are the physical prescriptions. Personal growth. Libra, justice is your card, and this week it is asking you to practice the most difficult form of justice there is, justice toward yourself. Libra's deepest growth edge is not in the realm of fairness toward others. You are already exquisitely attuned to other people's needs. The growth edge is self-directed justice, applying the same rigorous fair-mindedness to how you treat yourself, what you allow, what you decide you deserve. Because Libra can be extraordinarily unjust to itself. Holding yourself to standards you would never apply to others. Accepting treatment that the Justice card would look at and say, "This is not balanced." And continuing to accept it, to make it work, to find the argument for why it's actually fine, because the alternative, disrupting the peace, feels worse than the imbalance itself. Justice this week is asking, where have you been unjust to yourself? Where have you accepted less than what the scales say you're owed? Not in a spirit of grievance, in a spirit of accurate accounting. You deserve what you give. You deserve what you pour into the world, into your relationships, into the things you believe in. Claim it. Challenges and warnings. The primary challenge for Libra with the Justice card is the temptation to intellectualize rather than decide. Justice demands a verdict. Libra's natural movement is toward deliberation, weighing, considering, seeing all sides, deferring the conclusion until more information arrives. In the context of justice this week, this is the specific thing the card is asking you to move past. You have been weighing something long enough. You have more than enough information. The scales are showing you clearly which side is heavier. Make the decision that the evidence actually supports, not the one that preserves the most peace in the short term. Watch also for the impulse to perform justice, to make the right-sounding choice rather than the true one. Justice is not about appearances. It is about accuracy. With Mercury in your 9th house activating beliefs and philosophies, you may encounter someone this week who challenges a conviction you've held confidently. Before you defend, listen. Justice asks for openness to the evidence, even when it complicates your position. Closing. Libra, justice has arrived in your reading this week not to punish, not to expose, not to disrupt, but to confirm. To confirm that the scales are real, that what is true will be recognized, and that your integrity, the quiet, consistent, careful way you move through the world, has a weight that registers. This week, be honest. Be fair. To others, yes, you always are. But especially, urgently, beautifully to yourself. The scales are yours. Use them. Your affirmation for this week: I am honest, fair, and just, beginning with myself. What is accurate will be confirmed. I trust the balance. This is your Starspoken reading for the week of May 20th through 26. If justice landed, subscribe to Starspoken every week, your sign, your reading, with depth and honesty. And tell me in the comments, where in your life have the scales been unbalanced, and what would it take to correct them? I read every comment. Until next week, Libra. The truth always balances.